Hey, this is Nalestar. Even though a little bit late, but still wanted to upload this video about how I created my wow flip. I started by pitch shifting the original track. I usually do this in Ableton. In Logic, I don't really like to use flex pitch that much. Initially, I created one version with +2 semitones and one with -2 semitones. I came up with my first idea using this FM synthesizer bass kind of thing. It's the same bass I used in my The Green remix. It's from Alchemy and it's called Deep Techno FM Bass. The second step was to design the side chaining. I like to design my side chains using compressors instead of using these plugins like Kickstart, but this is just a preference. You can do that however you feel like. The next step was to add some groove to this. I reused a hi-hat, a clap, and this groovish kind of loop from a previous project. At this point, I felt that this bass line just wasn't really fitting and I wanted to try out something new. So I just started looking for a new bass line and I found this organ type of thing. It's from Nexus, actually. It's a preset called Tropical Love with 2 out of the 3 presets muted, and it's only just this raw organ. I don't know what this really is, but it sounds really classic and I liked it, so I decided to go with this one. Whenever I work with full tracks, like in this instance, whenever I don't have access to the acapella and I have to use every part, I like to enhance the sidechain by cutting up the sample and placing these little fade in and fade outs at the points where the kick would hit. This is not necessary obviously, but you can avoid some clicks and crackles. I like to do that. I added this piano, which I ended up using pretty much only as a background instrument, but still it gave some depth to the drop. This is a very simple FM synth from Spire. This is pretty much my go-to instrument whenever I want to add some fifth or a third layer to a bass instrument. This is also what I like to do. I added a little ping pong delay to the whole sample. In the end, I ended up reducing this by a lot, but it's still audible in the final mixdown. Arranging this track went by pretty fast. Probably the only kinda really hard thing was to design the bridge between the first breakdown part and the drop. I used some saturation on the sample itself, how it builds up, some reverbs with hard cutting at the fill point. I also used some horns and sirens, or I don't know how to call it properly, but this is how it ended up. Another part where I spent some time was in the middle with this whole breakbeat kind of thing. The kick drum has a modest distortion applied to it, only to make sure that it really cuts through the whole mix. And also I added another sidechain ghost channel for the same reason, to make sure that all of the other sounds and instruments are ducking whenever the kick or the snare hits. But yeah, the rest came pretty easily. It was all about getting the first drop ID right and everything else flowed from that. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, you can find the whole project file on Splice at splice.com/Nalestar. Likes, comments, subscribes, I don't know, bells. Really hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next video.